Guys, how was the 10 days or the 9 days? I want to hear from a few of you guys. I want to hear from a few of you that were here since day one. There's a few that I recognize till this day that have been here since day one, like Peter, like Justin, like Milan, like John. It could also be because you've been showing your camera, so it just prioritizes you up front. But I want to hear from anyone who's been here through the entire 9 days. What would you think? What were some of the big takeaways? I want to hear from you guys before we dive into Q&A.
Raise your hand if you want to speak up on it, and we'll get right to you. So that way we can keep it organized. Otherwise, everybody's going to say at the same time. Okay, let's go with Raheem, Travis. Who else want to speak up? Let's go with Raheem.
Hey, thanks, Paulson. Joel, first of all, sorry, I missed the first 2 days because I did not even know it started. And then I got an email like, oh shit, okay. So I started from day 3, just to clarify.
All good. I like the honesty.
So for me, the game changer was the offer, man. I just feel so much clarity on how to attack a niche. I'm kind of still stuck on the niche, to be honest. It's partly because of it's because it's like I'm in New York City and everything is shut down. So and also some of it is just like analysis paralysis bullshit.
What niches are you thinking about?
Oh, what niche? I'm looking at HVAC. I'm looking at physical therapists, and I'm looking at flight training schools or flight schools.
All right, I'm gonna just pick for you, my friend. Physical therapists. No more time wasted. Okay.
Done.
Okay. All right. I'll go with that.
Metaphorical point flip.
Okay. Thanks, Joel. But that was amazing. So yeah, I could keep rambling on.
And guys, one of the things I wanted to end on for this this last day is really just to hear from you guys, because I truly believe that the best way that you guys can also continue to learn is from each other. So I wanted to end on this note of collaboration, where we essentially can talk and openly have conversation about what clicked for you, what you're going to do. So whoever has any takeaways, really, I should have led the introduction with that, but that's the main goal before we get into Q&A. I want to really hear from you guys so that you all can learn from each other.
Let's go with Travis next. Travis with Review Revolution.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Every single day there's like major takeaways. It's kind of hard to narrow them down. Every day it's like, oh yes, this is the takeaway. But I never would have picked a niche no matter what. I just wouldn't have done it. And I'm following it. I did my contract. I got it written. No matter how bad I want to try and entertain other things, I'm going to stick with, I'm doing auto repair centers. And then, nice. Man, the structure of the meetings that you guys ran and your sales guy, man, I'm forgetting his name.
Omir.
I really took a lot of notes on that because that's super critical and feeling out the need and pulling it out and then addressing those things. And I've never done cold outreach before, ever. And I feel like I got a good handle on how simple it is, and it's mostly just action, and I'm really excited about that. So I don't know, every day there's something really quality, the offers, the mindset, everything. So I appreciate it.
Love it. Thank you, Travis.
Let's go with Jerry, Justin, Landon, and Millen, and we'll stop with that on feedback, unless you want to keep going, Joel. Let's go with Jerry.
I think it's good. Everyone can just today's more of a chill day. Everyone comes together, shares their experience. There's no heavy content prepared. It's just a time for us to all come together as a community and just end on a good note together. So.
Hey, Joel, this is Jerry. You see me?
Hey, yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for so much value, my friend. I have so many takeaways. I think the most valuable is mindset, accountability, and action. Don't wait, just execute. I did want to share with you my niche. No one in this group, actually no one in the Go High level or Facebook group is in my niche. As you can see on my background, I'm on the running industry niche. I help running events such as marathons, triathlons, 5Ks, whatever you name it that requires a registration. I help them drive traffic and maximize participations to their events through database reactivations, social media, and all that stuff. I'm going to stick with this. It's my passion. But my universe of potential clients, it's small compared to other niches. I have a potential of 45,000 races in the country. Obviously, I have other thousands around the globe. But when you guys were talking about outreaching 5,000 people and 100 emails per day, and I can go so fast through all of that. So I'm sticking to my niche. I think there's opportunity, but I just wanted to see if you have any thoughts, any recommendations within this unique niche in helping race organizations drive traffic to their registration platforms. I don't know if you have heard of something like this, if you have some experience, but anyhow, everything that you said, that you showed, everything is transferable in terms of action and mindset and all of that stuff. I think I took a lot of things. I don't have the support network of anybody of being in this industry, but I'm just taking ownership because I'm the only one on this industry. So it's just a matter of time and patience, and making it work.
I think this will be really valuable for everyone. So I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad you opened up that conversation.
Yeah.
I think that since day one, I've been really preaching this whole idea of empowering you guys to take ownership as opposed to spoon feeding you everything. And if you're going to go into a new territory and following the e-commerce example, create a new product that doesn't yet exist, that's fine. I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. But what you are going to have to do is figure out how you can go through all of the content and make it your own, right?
Right.
For example, if there's only 1,000 people in your industry, I probably wouldn't send a templated message. Like, you can send 1,000 personalized messages and then have a really strong follow-up. Because how long would it take you to make 1,000 videos? Realistically, a week, 2 weeks? If you're just sitting there and you're knocking one out every minute, or every few minutes, even let's say a month, it takes you a month to create a personalized touch point for everyone. I think the takeaways that you should be thinking about is how can I take these strategies that Joel shared, like creating a good offer, or doing retargeting ads to anyone that to anyone that clicks on the link below the personalized video that I send them. So it's more about asking yourself, how can I take everything that Joel taught and align it with me, as opposed to how can I take everything that Joel taught and copy and paste it for my niche. I think that's not the right way to go around about it. As far as a quick little idea for you, you have very few people in your niche. You probably have very little competition. I would be looking to build your personal brand a lot more, as opposed to outreach. And I would probably build a free Facebook group. Just invite everyone in your niche to where you can add a lot of value. Because how long would it take you to invite 1,000 people? Not a long time.
Just to correct, I have over 40,000 events. Over 40,000.
Yeah, but how many people are hosting those? Is it
correct.
1,000 individual people?
No, I think we have a good 10, 15,000 people that I have.
There you go. So that's just an idea. I think in a smaller niche, I would be focused on brand building. All right. Who else has some takeaways?
Let's go with Jerry. Thanks for sharing, man. I know we spoke 2-3 months ago, and I kind of said the same thing.
Yeah, we did, and I have clients on the pipeline already, and I'm excited. I'm just waiting.
I'm happy for you. You know what I like about what you share? You're being agile in your passion. You're a track guy. I'm gonna stay in the world that I know, and that's definitely respectable, regardless of what happens. It's a good sign that you're not gonna be shiny objected, right?
Yeah.
It's a good sign that you're not gonna be distracted.
But also, when you can't get them results, don't expect to just post in the high level group, being like, "Who can help me out?" Right?
No, absolutely. It's
a catch-22. There's two sides to every coin,
Yeah.
But if you make a free Facebook group, you invite everyone, the likelihood of them joining is probably going to be really high, because there's no other Facebook group teaching, running event marketing strategies. So anyways, Anyone else?
Let's go with Justin Pena. I've got a bunch of raised hands. Oh, Joel, let me make you a co-host in case if I get dropped off.
You're all good.
Yeah. So, Joel, this has been awesome. Appreciate everything that you're doing, and overall, I think really just the simplification that you've done to this. So much information in 10 days, but really just kind of being laser focused on the most necessary components. Because I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're so keen to being aware of so many different opportunities and strategies out there. So sometimes we can get some analysis paralysis and end up not doing anything or jumping from one thing to the next. And I really liked your popcorn analogy on day one, because that's kind of like the exact mindset that I need to have. Just wait a little bit longer, commit to something for 6 months to a year, give it your all, and see if it doesn't work after that, then maybe change your strategy, but don't change it right away just because you don't see any results coming in. And I did have a big win that I wanted to share. On Wednesday, a new client's payment has been processed, and I did make it 10K in 10 days. So 10K came in.
Oh wow, man, that's crazy.
On Wednesday, yeah. So he prepaid for 6 months.
Yo, guys, drop. I want to see a record number of ones in the chat for Justin, because that's insane, man.
Yeah, and the biggest reason why I was able to close him, because I spoke to him on Saturday, and then he paid on Monday, and then it just completed on Wednesday. But it was your offer piece, and I just kind of built that easy yes offer where it was almost seems like too much of a no-brainer. Maybe I gave away too much. Maybe it might come back to bite me later trying to fulfill the order, but I laid things out in a simple manner, so that it's easy to say yes to.
Love it, man. Great job.
Yeah. And my last takeaway was actually from yesterday, because I've dealt a lot with that client churn, losing a lot of clients after 3 to 6 months. But when you spoke yesterday about having that launch call and kind of setting those expectations one-on-one with your client and kind of going over a slide deck, like actually presenting something to them, showing them, these are the biggest reasons people fail or people succeed in my program. And I've already started scheduling calls with my current clients just to kind of, even though they've been my client for a while, I kind of want to go over that and touch base with them on why people are succeeding and failing. So
that's brilliant, man.
Thank you.
Great. One of the biggest regrets that I have when I left doing account management is no longer doing the launch call. If I could go back in time, I would have, and if I was still heavily involved in the day-to-day of my agency, I would have done a group onboarding with all of my new clients, because it's impossible to do an hour if you're bringing on a client a day, right? 7 hours, like it just builds up, right? So if I could go back in time, I would have done group onboarding with like 20 doctors. And what I would have also done is, remember yesterday we talked about the strategic partner who's helping you out? I would have brought him on or her on. So now you got you and this doctor or someone in your niche telling other people in your niche what you have to do to succeed. And your authority just goes through the roof. So
yeah,
that's awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Congrats, Justin. That's awesome.
Love
Let's
it.
go with, and thanks for sharing. Let's go with Landon.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Paulson, for creating such a dynamic webinar. Before everything, like all this stuff started, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I have an agency, but before I was in Paulson's webinars, I've only been on with high level for a month, but I was in Paulson's webinars, and he was talking about selling like SaaS. And so so for my agency, I decided to make a product selling SaaS. And I came into this webinar with that idea. And before that, I really had no idea like what I was doing, like whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna just take this fresh start raw, like whatever I learn is what I learn, and I just move forward. So I've literally created more things in 10 days than I have done in the like past year, like with my agency. And so I feel a lot more confident. Like I just have like that feeling, like I have the feeling that something's about to click. And it's just so many things that just like put me down, like just different things. But like because of the confidence that I'm like getting from learning these new things, like the offers, like I'm like I've already joined like 20 real estate agent Facebook groups, like in Memphis, and Knoxville, like like different ones. And I've already paid for like sponsorships so I could post my offer to the group. So like it's just so many things that I've learned from this like these 10 days. And I also invest in real estate. So my intention is to stick to the niche in real estate for real estate agents, because I buy real estate in Dallas. So I have wrote the contract to myself and everything like that. And like I'm not letting up for the next 6 months, no matter what happens.
I love it, man. Guys, drop some ones for Landon. That's pretty powerful stuff. Super happy you got some value. What would you say was your biggest takeaway? Number one, just one.
Being simple. I tried to overcomplicate everything for the past year. Like I just thought like, you know, I could do all these things and fulfill all these different wishes for different industries. And, you know, coming to this and you guys saying focus on one niche, like that's just as being as simple as it gets, because now it allows for me to learn everything about real estate agents and what they need. And until I reached my goal of my clients all right. So on day one, my client goal was 50, but now it's at 200. So
50
I had to
in
like
10 days.
no 50 until I moved to like another niche or decide if I want to
Yeah.
keep
I
doing
was like,
it.
whoa.
So,
I was like, that's pretty aggressive. I don't know.
yes. So
I don't know
my
if I could pull
confidence
that
went
off.
up. Yeah. So basically, my confidence went up, allowing for me to make that change to jump to 200. Because I'm like,
You know what happens when you hit 200?
What?
You're making money, and then you don't really care about the other ideas that you had. And then you're like, let me go to 1,000.
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like as entrepreneurs, we want to hold on to all these different ventures, all these different businesses that seem promising, but ultimately we just want the end. We just want to experience the journey, and we want to get the end result.
Mm-hmm.
Once you experience the journey and get the end result, you're like, I don't need to start my Shopify store or these other niches. It's like, I got what I wanted. So
that makes sense.
It's awesome, man.
I would push you to look at it as in 2,000.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I need these booked appointments. That's all I'm working on right now. Booked appointments.
Love it.
Yep. Setting appointments, taking appointments, right, Joel? Let's go with Mylan. Let's go with Mylan.
Hey, Joel, I think the biggest...
Is it Mylan or Milan?
So I go with Milan, but like back home, like I'm originally from Nepal, it's called Milan, but I go with Milan.
Okay, cool.
So the biggest thing I think I had was clarity. I think like there's a lot of content out there, and you go in like 10 different directions when you go to YouTube. I think like now I have this one path and pretty clear laid out path, I think. And then I think some of the biggest takeaway, Joel, one was like try to be a CEO rather than an entrepreneur. When you are CEO of a company, like you basically focus on one thing and grow that one business, rather than when you are an entrepreneur, you try to take these 100 directions and not accomplish anything. I think that was one of the biggest thing. And the second thing was the question that he had, like, hey, is this gonna take me closer to the sales? If yes, do it. If no, then don't do it. I think like now, like even in like 10 days, I've asked that question so many times and helped me steer in the right direction like so many times. And just the simplicity of just taking action, I think like in terms of your paid ad, like everyone thinks they have to have this complex funnel and a whole lot of different things before they launch, even like calling people, messaging people. I think the whole simplicity of things and the clarity about the direction and all different things was really powerful to me.
You know, it's crazy. Some people ask, like, why do you get agency owners better results, you know, in your coaching program.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with the scripts. Like, there's other programs that probably have more up-to-date scripts, but where I win is I really convince you guys to believe in yourselves enough to take action. And then the script becomes irrelevant at that point. So I love it, man. Keep taking action, keep staying focused, and keep trying to kill the entrepreneur to become the CEO.
No, I think that's the biggest thing. Thanks, Joel.
You got
Let's go with Billy Mathis.
Hey, thanks, Paulson. Hey, Joel.
Hey.
So my biggest takeaway is, I mean, there's lots of little nuggets. I've got sheets of paper here, just taking notes every single day. But I think the overall picture, I mean, I love what Landon said about confidence. You've given me a map that I can see everything clearly now, right? Whereas I think I had a lot of these components you talked about, certainly not as refined as what you gave them. But there's a vision there now, right? And there's complete confidence that I know that I'll be able to get there. And this whole journey for me, just these past 2 weeks, has been like a bit of a divine intervention. And I'm not kidding you, the way things have come together since we've started doing this. The day before you had started talking about the strategic partners, I have a manufacturer. By the way, my niche is orthopedic surgeons. And I have a guy that he's a manufacturer of shoulder parts that get replaced inside. And so I've been doing marketing with him, and he's the one who's really generating these connections with surgeons for me. So there's little effort that I've had to put in so far with sales, but I'm confident in that area too. That's my whole background is sales. Paulson, I'm actually here in Dallas as well. I work for 94.9 KLTY, and so I'm used to doing the sales things with people. But since starting this video, I'm actually meeting right after this video with that partner to talk about his investment in the company. Because essentially what I'm planning to do is to quit that job. It's a 6-figure salary job in sales and switching completely into this. And he's going to be along the ride. That same day that we partnered up, we had a conversation with one of the orthopedic surgeons who was basically having these same kind of thoughts, and he wanted to jump in. He said he wants to get in however he can, and wants to, if it's helping close, if it's writing the scripts, giving the experience of what orthopedic surgeons do, he wants in as much as he can be. And so we're already having these conversations, and it's just blowing my mind how all this has just been coming together. And we have it all mapped out, and I can tell you, man, I'm just super excited and ready to go.
Like, one of my biggest core values, it's the number one core value in my entire company, is that a rising tide raises all ships. Everyone is also like, Joel, how did you scale 7-figure agency or coaching program so fast? And I actually partnered with 2 other 7-figure agency owners, and I gave them a lot of equity because I realized that together we'll go so much farther. And if you actually look at the 10 wealthiest people in the world, they have more money than half of humanity. 10 individuals have more money than half of humanity as a whole. And it just goes to show that there's power in unity with other really, really talented people. So I think that's a big move. I think you guys are going to crush it. And even if it takes a little longer for you guys to all be extremely profitable, because you have to divvy it up in the long run, like, you guys just wiped out every other orthopedic surgeon agency with that team, Yeah. Your value is so much higher. So I freaking love it, man.
Well, we got 6. Billy. We're at 6. I've got, we're at 5K a month right now. The goal is in the first quarter there to get to 20 clients. I think that's conservative. So
yeah. Actually, one of the fastest way we grew Patient Rush was with strategic partnership with fellow biomedical vendors. So, like, in the med spa world, I mean, literally every provider of a machine was talking to us at one point or another, and we grew. That was one of the fastest way we grew. We would get like 50, 60 clients in one run, and we're like, oh my God, we got to hire somebody to fulfill all this in-house, so you'll feel that. But it's a great way to look at it right out of the gate, right? Most people get to your mindset after 100 clients. You're doing this right at 5K, which is huge because the climb is just so much less resistive. It really is. You're gonna.
You're not sure if this system works for you. Let me connect you with our in-house orthopedic surgeon.
That's right.
Exactly.
And another little thing that's kind of helped me boost these last 2 weeks, I got a VA, and I've just started pushing everything off on her, so I can just focus. It's not working in the business, but working on the business. And it's been $1,500 a month. I use Joe over there, and I'll tell you guys, that's another step that once you get past that and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get a VA. You start focusing more on your business instead of working in it to do all the work yourself.
Awesome. Let's go with. Thanks for sharing, Billy. Let's go with Shanta. Let's go with Brett Bowden.
Hey guys. First of all, thank you. Of course, you get a lot of that. My biggest takeaways were focus. Joel, you talked about the shiny object syndrome, and I'm sure Paulson laughs at that among us marketing guys. There's so much out there, right? Looks like we could do that.
The funny thing is, I'm telling you,
I'm a victim of it too, guys. I'm not perfect.
I do the same thing.
My team puts a quota on how many ideas I can bring on a weekly basis, but the key is just to be, especially at the beginning though. That's when it's the worst. It kills momentum.
Yeah, for sure. And that's me. I've 20 years been in sales, doing advertising, mainly print and direct mail kind of stuff. And so a lot of those are face-to-face sales. And so this pandemic is sort of it's been timely to do this now, to pivot and do this remotely, and what are some best practices to that. So thanks for that. Got a roadmap to evolve, and so appreciate that. Never used a VA, so excited about that. And just this morning, signed a deal with that'll double my little 10 to 15K agency that we run here. So that's really exciting. Wouldn't have the confidence to do that. I will be white labeling some help. So Paulson, I'll be in touch about that. But thanks for the roadmap, and might even need some coaching. So maybe there'll be an opportunity to do that down the road.
Awesome stuff, man. Let's go with Braden Leonard.
Hey, I want to thank you guys. Sorry if there's a lot of noise. I'm in a coffee shop here. But biggest takeaway is don't be a little bitch. Sorry for the language. But I did I don't know if it was Omer or if it was you, Joel. I did the iMessage call, and it worked. The person answered through Facebook Messenger. And I had an intro call with them, and they're going to book a demo with me. So, just make action.
That's a message I wish I could say more often, but I have to play the political game somewhat. So sometimes I just wait for someone else to say it.
So everyone else here, like you can make calls through iMessenger directly to the person, and they'll answer. Just make that action. Also working on getting a VA to do some email outreach. We're currently working in groups and stuff like that. So just a little motivation from this. It's been great. Thank you.
Awesome. Love me the energy, man. Let's go
Awesome.
with Alex.
Let's take like 2 or 3 more, and then let's transition. I want to make some final closing statements, and we'll kind of wrap up.
Okay, let's do that. Let's go with Alexander, Christian, then Justin, and we'll call it that.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the thank you is on the table. I mean, you guys have dedicated 10 plus hours of your time to this, and so that's huge. I think that, like everybody else has been saying, it's about kind of simplifying the process, which has been really big for me. The whole DBR thing, I know it sounds almost like common sense, but I didn't ever want to devalue myself or my service by trying to do something for free. And so it was just like kind of an eye opener where it's like, this is something I can do for free that, I mean, whatever, not free, pennies on the dollar, you know, it costs me nothing to send a text blast or whatever. And so it's just something where I can provide value up front. That's huge. But more than anything, it also kind of helped me craft my downsell, where I was able to close somebody into my downsell this week because of what I've been going through with your training over the last 10 days. So I've gotten some success from that too. Not 10,000, but it was a win. And somebody who's in my incubator, somebody who I can continue to nurture and then bring into my actual offer. When to use the 1-call close, when to use a 2-call close. I got that from that too. It's something that instinctually I've already been doing, but I didn't have any real delineation for when to pivot. I've been in sales since I was 19 in real estate, and I'm 36 now. So it's like, okay, I should have all this down by now. But even though my instincts were telling me, it was just like, okay, well, where do I turn? So just kind of taking a step back and looking at, you know, realistically who I'm talking to and what they're dealing with. That was huge for me. And then also, Paulson, I went through your video the other day on the demo and how to really simplify that. That was huge too. And I wouldn't have even known about that video. Honestly, I wouldn't have even known about the sales stuff in that section of GHL had I not been on these trainings. So that was cool. And then also I got a couple of rebuttals out of you, Paulson, that were pretty magical. So, you know, I've taken note of those and I will be using them. I pretty much deploy and implement anything I learn like immediately just to test it and see it. I never have a problem with that. So it's just been really cool holistically. Appreciate you guys' time.
You know, my biggest takeaway from what you just mentioned is the fact that you're taking what you learned and you're making it work for you. It's going to be so tempting for all of you guys to take everything that we taught and just want to copy and paste it without any creative thinking and problem solving around how it might apply for you. But guys, since day one, I've been saying this information that you got is not black or white. There's always context. If you're speaking to a roofer who's on the road, a demo call might be a little more complex. You might do a 2-step close, but maybe it's right then and there. If you have a huge personal brand, like Jerry is going to build with his running agency for running events, and they all know Jerry. It's like, well, Jerry, I know what you got to offer. Like, we don't have to take me through this whole process to nurture me. So I think my favorite takeaway from what you just shared is that you're taking everything that you've learned and then not only taking action on it, but also figuring out how it applies to you. Because the reality is anyone that walks away from this training and goes right back into this copy and paste habit where they just copy and paste and like it didn't work, you're going to fail because you're not really training yourself to find ways to take strategies and make them work for you. So
yeah, 100%. It's like after a while, you'll see the structure being leveraged, right? You see your own structure being played out, right? And then you'll get to a level of detail where you start paying attention to the details. And that's when you start getting really, really good as a player, right? Like even with small things, like when Braden said he's at a coffee shop, as a sales guy, my instinct would have been, are you drinking cappuccino or macchiato? Because I wanted to humanize the sales environment that I may go into with Braden. These little details, like I literally had to hold myself from saying that because I'm not on a sales call, right? Because instincts will start kicking in, right? So all these details will start playing out after you've perfected your frameworks. Let's go with Christian and then Justin Knowles, and then we'll cut off the feedback session and then go with the final session with Joel.
Cool. What's up, guys? Thank you, Paulson. Thank you, Joel. Fun fact, 2 fun facts. Braden lives down the street from me. Second fun fact.
Who does?
Braden. Me and Braden have been boys for like a year. And then second fun fact, just today I realized I've been getting ads from Joel for like a week. I didn't realize.
I didn't send you guys any. You guys haven't clicked on anything, you know?
No, not in the bad way. Before the workshop, I didn't realize it was you. It was like you had the phone thing and whatever. Cool.
I just do what my team tells me to do, you know?
No, like,
tell you guys a funny story.
Wait till you see my ads.
And let me tell you guys. I'm gonna just tell you guys a funny story. My team. At this point, I really am CEO. Like I'm not touching the ads or any of that stuff. And the other day, they're like, Joel, can you go up to a drive-through and ask them if they need Facebook ads and record the whole thing? So I went. The point I'm trying to make, man, is that whatever you see on the ads, just take it with a grain of salt sometimes. But I went up to the drive-through and I was like, you guys need Facebook ads? They're like, no. It's like, the line's kind of empty though. And then they're like, no. I was like, okay, bye. So you'll be seeing that ad pretty soon.
That's
look out for that one. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you got the sneak peek.
That's just Facebook doing the magic of interest targeting and, dude, you having those conversations.
100%. So
going to his pages, going to his websites, checking out his groups.
That's exactly what I did too. So it's probably retargeting. But biggest takeaways from this 10-day workshop, I feel these 10 days have been kind of like a wild ride for me. A lot of things have randomly started coming together. So the day before day one, well, actually I found out about it on like day 2. Braden told me, and then I hopped in, started paying attention. But that day I had a meeting with some e-com like client that was like gonna train me on all this stuff. And I said no to it because I made a contract that's on my fridge saying like kitchen remodeling only and all this stuff. And then I saw the other day we were talking about how you need to get experience quickly. So I ran ads for myself, got set up a couple things, which was really cool. I knew I had to do it from before. Funny enough, I took on the e-com opportunity, not for the e-com, but I changed my mindset on it to like, this is a paid internship, $3K USD. It's like a paid training on how to get better on ads. And I've been still running my own ads in the back end and doing the strategy sessions. So I'm like, oh, this is really neat. So I'm getting best of both worlds there. And then yesterday, a partnership that kind of like came up where someone's like teaching me all this. They have an agency that does very, very well, like a 7-figure agency, and they're teaching me all this like business development stuff, like setting up my sales teams and getting everything in place. So it's been a wild ride for the 10 days. So I'm super appreciative, and niching down has been huge for me. So it's good.
Awesome stuff, brother. Appreciate you sharing.
Love it.
Let's go a little faster with you, Justin, if that's okay with you, man.
Yeah,
Justin, you're the last one. You got to end us on the highest note.
Hey, no problem, man. I hope everybody's having the best day of life. And man, this course has been the best thing for me. Joe Paulson, forever indebted. May you both receive it back 100 times fold. The biggest takeaway that I got from this course was practice. Practice. Take the shot, Justin. Sometimes I sit back so much and these things got to be so perfect. Take the shot. Over the whole course was just prospecting. Man, it was so many valuable prospecting tools. Like, just sit down and do it. Be active. Don't wait on it. Just do it. For me, if I have no place to go, nobody to talk to, nobody to see, nothing else matters. Man, and the offer that you gave, it was like, I'm going to send you 10 appointments, and I added in, I'm going to send you 10 new 5-star reviews in 10 days, absolutely free, no catch. We just want to prove ourselves just for the chance to work for you, work together. For the old people that we had demos for, man, that was major. I got like 3 or 4 people on the calendar. I'm like, man, I don't even know what I'm going to send them, maybe a kickoff form, but I'll worry about it when I get there, get that database. But it was just major. Of course, I could go on all day long. And accountability. I'm going to drop my number in the chat. That's anybody. If you guys want to, let's practice together, on calls, whatever, the sales scripts, whatever. But that's what I picked up from the most part. Thank you both.
Every time I talk to Justin, it's like he's like the pastor reverend that's just like praying a blessing over me with the rap song. Literally what I get every single time. Go ahead, Joe.
But honestly, though, I want to bring a serious point here. Justin, since day one, I remember seeing you on the interview day. It was like when we announced this workshop, and I think you were taking notes. You were all in, fully focused, fully committed, amazing mindset, expressing so much gratitude. And I talk about this all the time with my students. You have to become a 7-figure human being to be able to go out and build a 7-figure business. For example, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your team. You have to be willing to take 1 step back to take 3 steps forward. Like, there's just all these principles that I truly believe you embody, man. So I just want to give you a shout out. I think you're going to be quite all right. I'm not too worried about you. And I think we can all feel that energy that you have. And I'm telling you guys, that's the first step. First, you have to level up to earn the right to grow your business. Because if you're not aligned with who you are and who you need to become, you can have all the greatest strategies in the world, but I promise you, they're not going to take you to where you want to go. With that in mind, I want to close off on this note. It's a really important note. It's a very serious note. And then I want to do a quick survey that I'm going to send out to you guys. Please fill it out. It's for me and the high level team. It takes 60 seconds. Okay. You got to press like 3 bubbles. It's so simple. With that in mind, here's my final message for you guys. This is what I want to end off on. If you guys don't do anything with everything that we've taught, even though the last 10 days might have felt exciting, even though the last 10 days might feel good, even though the last 10 days might make you feel like you've made progress and created momentum, if you do not take action on it, it's just your mind playing games with you. You've made no progress. If all you do is consume this content, feel like you got that initial rush of excitement and progress, but it doesn't lead to action, you are not going to get to where you want to go. I know that's a harsh message, but I think it's really important because I know we are all feeling good right now. It's been a lot of fun. Every day me and Paulson talk after this and reflect back and we're like, yo, that was awesome. It seems like everyone's enjoying it. And I personally have had an amazing time with you guys. And a lot of you said thank you to me today. But I'm telling you, the best way for you to thank me is to take everything you learned and actually act on it. Because if not, it's not only a waste of time to us, it's a waste of time to you. So my biggest ask, if you're sitting on this live or if you're watching the replay, is that tomorrow, I guess it's Saturday, but whatever, tomorrow or even today, replace this hour a day with extreme levels of action. I want you to literally be overwhelmed with so much action to the point where you're like struggling to even find time to learn something new, or you're struggling to find time to get clarity because there's just so much momentum. So can I get one last round of ones on that note? Who here is going to commit to action? Guys, I promise you, I tell this to every single person that joins my program. As soon as you join, you get really excited. You feel good. You just made a big investment. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to change my life. The moment reality sets in, you realize it's going to be harder than you initially anticipated, or at least when the positive feelings in your brain start to fade away, the biggest thing that happens to most entrepreneurs is that they also fade away. And all I'm asking you guys is to not only go out and take massive action, but I'm also asking that the day that the excitement that you're feeling today goes away, for you guys to push through and not disappear. So with that in mind, I think that wraps up the 10 days. Super grateful for each and every one of you guys. Paulson, any final words? Yeah, please.
So some of you guys, on the front end, this was like amazing and awesome, right? We were able to bring in somebody like Joel, do an event like this. This is the first time ever something like this happened. When I first started talking to Sean and Robin about this whole idea, the way this all came about was like we were looking at everybody's agency accounts and sub accounts, and we're like, well, nobody has a big enough pipeline. What are we going to do about it, right? It's like everybody, a good amount of people are, more than 50% of the people are struggling with sales and prospecting. So I know there's only 70 to 100 people here every single day, but trust me, there's well over 3,000 people that needs to hear this message today. I know that for a fact. Right. So when I told Joel about this, when I told Sean and Rob and all these guys, I'm like, hey, I want to do an event where it's just a game changer, no pitch, no nothing. We're just going to literally just liberate you guys with the right knowledge. Joel was like, you know what? You guys at high level, you are willing to go above and beyond. I know I froze there. And he was like, Joel was like, you know what? You guys at high level are willing to go above and beyond to help your customers. I want to be part of it. And to this day, we're on the last day. Neither Joel and I, nobody has pitched anything, right? It's really to help you guys out. So it took us almost 2 months to get to these 10 hours of compliance, of marketing, almost, all kinds of different things that we had to make sure things were in place. It took a lot of work. It was well beyond weeks of work. And it wasn't just me and Joel sitting around putting some PowerPoint slides together. His team's working with my team, and like we're trying to collaborate. And we have a production team that all puts all these things up on the YouTube channel. There's a lot to putting together something like this. So it's really important that you guys take action. All this work that we've done will go in vain. I want to feel comfortable that we've scaled at least 100 agencies going right into Q1 of 2021 and ammoing them with the right knowledge, right? And that's what I feel great about. So, Joel, from the High Level family, I want to thank you and your team, just from myself, just the willingness, just the respect that we have for each other. So I truly, truly appreciate you, man. For those of you that don't know, Joel does run his own coaching program. He has an amazing group. I'm part of his group, just so you know. If you come in there, I'll hang out with you as well. So it's something that I believe in, stand up on based on what I've gone through myself, right? And some of you already know that I don't just put anybody on, so it's definitely vetted things, vetted content, vetted ideas and concepts that we believe in as well. So a huge shout out to you, Joel, for being extremely flexible. Lot of deviations happen, a lot of work that went behind putting together something like this. And so it's very, very much appreciated from you, from the High Level family. And we already talked about, figuring out ways to do this again, figuring out how to operationalize events like this on an education level. So this is just going to get more exciting and leveling you guys up. Joel, how can they find you? I want them to be able to come to you and your guys and have them be able to talk to you. What's the best way for them to reach you, learn more from you? Let's do a shout out for your community and what you guys do there. And where can they find you, buddy?
For sure. I think it's a great question. I had a lot of you guys reach out and essentially ask, where can I learn more? And I did promise Paulson no pitch, so not pitching anything, okay?
They just need something to go to. I think.
That being said, at the bottom of the survey, I hooked you guys up with an amazing bonus. If you join my free Facebook group, that's essentially where you can hang out with me. There's no pitch. It's just amazing content, more stuff like this. If you want to keep engaging with me in the future, that's it. That's all I will ask in terms of if you want to come and find me. And you absolutely don't have to. So it's not mandatory. And
awesome,
that's pretty much it,
man.
So
anybody else have I'm sorry, Joel, go ahead. What did you say about the group?
For anyone that doesn't know the group, it's called Marketing Agency Secrets. If you look,
can you drop the link? Can you drop the link? Because there's so many marketing agency secrets.
There's a lot of secrets, but I got the best ones, No, I'm just kidding. Bad joke.
Dropped a meme in there for you, Joel.
Yeah,
you'll appreciate that.
I saw it. Yeah, it was hilarious. I did
awesome
see it.
Stuff, guys.
That was an accidental pause, just so you guys know. I was literally, a phone call came in, I paused, and then I looked at the screen. I'm like, I've got to do something with this.
Yeah, check it out. This one?
Awesome stuff.
Was it this one?
That's the one.
I like it.
Literally, my phone rang, and I went, answered the call, and I turned. I turned back and looked at my screen. I'm like, oh, this is a meme.
That's funny.
I love it.
Guys, anybody have any final like relevant Q&A on maybe yesterday, before?
Let's do this, guys. I'll answer a few questions, but I'm going to drop the survey link. I want to do that right now. So I want everyone to go to bit.ly. Does everyone know what bit.ly is? bit.ly/Joel Kaplan 3. I'm going to drop the link. Joel Kaplan 3. bit.ly/Joel Kaplan 3.
Guys, Joel, do you want to end with a Q&A or no?
Ran out of time. Let's see. Now let's end with just a closing. Let's just do one last closing statement. How about that?
Okay.
Aside from taking action,
what happens after 10K, Joel? Let's say we all took action. We're at 10K. What would you say to us once we've accomplished everything we talked about in the last 10 days? What's next? What's the next level?
Let's add some value for you guys. Let me pull up my onboarding workshop for my program where I break down what the 100K a month agency looks like. How does that sound? Do you guys want to end on that note? The 100K a month formula. Let me pull it up. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be some really good stuff to end on. But first, did everyone finish the survey? Yes? I'm not going to share this until you guys finish the survey. So if you guys can go through it real quick, that'd be awesome. This data is going to help me and the high-level team moving forward. So if you can just knock that out, that'd be awesome. Cool. Once you're done with the survey, drop a 1 below, and then we're going to do the final piece of training on what it takes to get to 100K a month. So all of you guys are probably going to be wondering at some point, how do I go from 10K a month to 100K a month? So what I did a few months ago is I took a look at all of my agency students that were doing over 100K a month, and I looked for patterns, and I wrote it out into a few different bullet points that I think will be really powerful for you guys. And my 100K a month success formula comes from these bullets. So let me pull this up. Here they are. First things first, they all trusted the process and put in the work. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but it's still important to note, like none of them took a shortcut. None of them tried to find another way that completely dismantled the process that we've laid out for you guys. They really trusted the process and put in the work. It takes time, takes an immense amount of dedication and sacrifice. It doesn't happen overnight, just like I told you guys on day one. So that's why I like to start with that bullet point. That's kind of a given. You can't just magically wake up at 100K a month. You got to put in some blood, sweat, and tears. It has to happen. They also went through periods of immense challenge. I don't know of any 100K a month agency that didn't experience struggle. Every single 100K per month agency, instead of trying to avoid the challenges that came with losing, they leaned in. So there's this core value that we have at our company, and I share it with all of my students, is if you lose, lean in. And every single 100K a month agency that I've worked with, whenever they lost, whenever things didn't work out, whenever things were bumpy and things weren't as smooth as they wanted it to be, they leaned in. They didn't back away. Obviously, they showed up and took action. You guys are already on that level. You're here. There's thousands of people in the high level group. There's only about 70 people here. And some are watching the replay, so I do want to give those people credit. That being said, you guys are showing up. You're showing up. That's the first step. I tell everyone, what's the first step to success? You got to show up. If you don't even come and show up to this call, and you also then don't go out and take action, you're not going to succeed. So that's also a given, guys. And I know you've been all hearing me talk about this, but I think it's still really important to mention. They also followed the 4 pillars. I teach 4 pillars: set appointments, close appointments, fire yourself, and innovate and over deliver. Set appointments, close appointments, fire yourself, innovate, and over deliver. Those are the 4 pillars to building a 100K a month agency. If you can crack the code when it comes to setting appointments, if you have a system in place where you can get appointments, if you have a system in place where you can close appointments, if you have a system in place where you're not involved in the day-to-day, and you have a system in place to innovate for your clients and over deliver for them, you're going to win. You're going to be at 100K a month. If you can check off, let's say there's 4 tasks on the to-do list: set appointments, close appointments, fire yourself, innovate, and over deliver. If you can check off all those things, you're going to be at 100K a month. And when I talk about pillar 4, innovate and over deliver, that's in regards to getting your clients amazing results. I want to make that clear. It's really asking yourself, how can I take everything that we're doing and innovate on it, make it better for our clients? Every single 100K a month agency that I've worked with has checked off all those 4 pillars. You can't do pillars 2 through 4 and skip 1. You also can't skip 3, because if you don't have systems in place, if you don't have a team in place, you can't do it by yourself. You can't get to 100K a month unless you fire yourself from the day-to-day. It's pretty much impossible unless you have some crazy luck or a crazy circumstance. But again, guys, there's always outliers, and that's not what I'm banking on. Besides that, they all had an irresistible offer. So they all figured out, what does my market want? I'm going to give it to them. We talked about offers. Every single 100K a month agency didn't have to be a guarantee. We talked about this on day 3, I believe. It doesn't have to be a guarantee. It doesn't have to be removing risk. But they did figure out what their audience wanted, and they gave it to them. At the core, that's really all I'm trying to say. For example, one of the agencies in my program that scaled extremely fast from 30K to 100K a month, they were one of the first few to crack the code on having VAs follow up on their clients' behalf on high level, and also adding a call center for their clients. They realized they're in the roofing niche. They realized most of their clients don't have time to call and don't have the resources or infrastructure to do so. They also don't have the time. They don't even have the time to go into high level and reply back. So they were like, you know what? Let's give them what they want, which is a fully automated follow-up system. And boom, they took off. So it doesn't have to be a guarantee. It's just figuring out what your audience wants and giving it to them. They also had we have a niche calculator test, but I give you guys the main frameworks. They all had a niche that can scale. They didn't have this random niche that's impossible to scale. And most importantly, they all had a productized service. Each one of them took their fulfillment and they turned it into a product. So instead of it being a service, it was a product that looks pretty much the same across the board. So whether you're working with a CrossFit gym in Denver, or whether you're working with a CrossFit gym in California or Texas, it didn't matter. It was the same service. So therefore, they turned it into a product. Now, this is a really, really, really interesting one. I think the last 3 are my favorite. Every single one of the 7-figure agencies that I've helped hit 7 figures, they actually realized that I wasn't going to be able to help them hit 7 figures. And I know that's kind of backwards, but again, I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I could sit here and tell you, oh yeah, it was all because of me, but that's a lie. The truth is, they all realized I need to figure out how to beat Joel at his own game. I need to figure out how to be a better agency owner than Joel. And they took ownership in being better, and they took the frameworks that I gave them and innovated on them. So they were like, you know what, Joel, I know you're not a big fan of call centers. Screw you. I'm going to do it anyways. And I'm going to figure it out. And I'm like, all right, it's going to be really hard. They're like, I don't care. I'm going to figure it out. So I'm not saying go build a call center. That's not the takeaway here. The takeaway here is to figure out how to take things that you learn from other people and then innovate on them and make them better. That's how you win. In sports, who wins? The better team or the worst team? The better team. Who wins when someone is playing better or worse? The person that's playing better. It's the same thing. And I think when we sign up for programs and we come to workshops like this, we think that we just got to follow the process and take action. But that was only step 1 and 2 of the formula that I'm giving you guys. You then have to take everything that you're taking action on and innovate on it. So if I had to rewrite the statement in terms of how to succeed, I would say show up, take action, innovate. Last 2 things. 90% or more marketing agencies doing 7 figures all have paid ads. Unless they have, like, there's one guy that landed a massive strategic partnership and he hit 100K a month without paid ads. But he's the outlier. Just because it works doesn't mean it's the best route for most people. So, for example, Paulson landed this massive strategic partnership with his medical agency. It doesn't mean that that's the best route for most people, and it might not be the easiest route. What I realized is that most marketing agencies that scaled, they accomplished scale by lighting the fire even more through paid advertising. Like, for example, I was interviewing someone in my free group today on how to go from 0 to 30K. They just hit 30K. And she was telling me how they've actually mainly relied on messaging people on Instagram. And she's like, and she told me she just started paid ads. And I was like, why don't you run a swipe up ad telling people to DM you on Instagram? So now you're getting people to come to you and DM you, and you're just building on the foundation of what's already working, but you're doing it at scale. So that was one big factor. Most 100K a month agencies, for the most part, are running paid ads, whether it is to get appointments or to fuel their organic strategies. Also, this is probably the most important one by far. To get to 100K a month, you cannot do it alone. This is a really good note to end on. To get to 10K, you can do it by yourself, honestly. All of you guys can get to 10K by yourself. That being said, I actually don't know personally, maybe there is, but I don't know personally of one marketing agency that's doing 100K a month without a team. So 100K a month agencies, for the most part, they'll have a media buyer, they'll have a sales manager or a closer, a sales rep, they'll have account manager to talk to the clients, and they'll have virtual assistants, at least. That's kind of bare minimum. As you scale, you need to add more things into place, like a project manager or an operations manager. But regardless, the takeaway, guys, is when you scale, like once you're at 30K a month, it's not that complex to get to 100K a month. It's really just adding a team. It's taking what's working and lighting the fire even more with something like paid ads, and just being better than everyone else in your niche. Like, if I had to really boil it down. So what do you guys think? Good stuff? I guess we'll get one last round of ones. And I will say this, guys. It's a lot harder to go from 0 to 10K than it is to go from 10K to 100K. I know that's extremely hard to wrap your head around, but just like the rocket ship, getting it off the ground and all of the work that goes into building a rocket, getting all the parts together, raising money to be able to actually go out and build a rocket ship, getting the scientists together. That's so much harder than getting that rocket 10 feet off the ground and then out into space. So
yeah. Awesome stuff, Joel. I just want to add two more things to what you've said, and I don't want to take away from anything you've said. Two things that I've always noticed where people fail in business in general. Let's even talk outside of agency, right? Number one is from an operational perspective, they don't know how to profit first, meaning they don't know how to understand their numbers. They don't know what margin means. They don't know how to take away and pay themselves first. That's the number one reason why most businesses fail is financial management. It's not strategy. It's not anything else. So if you make 1,500 on a client, understand how to run lean and understand how to take away the profit that you want to take home. Number two is they don't have the comparison disease, right? Billy Matheson he landed a great strategic relationship in medical space, and there's no point in me comparing of what his strategy is versus mine. Don't compare somebody's success because you have no idea how long that tree has been looking to root into the ground. That tree could have been working for 4 years consuming content, and on the fifth year, that agency owner could have taken action. There's a lot of knowledge behind there, right? So don't mentally debilitate yourself with comparison. And operationally, understand your margins, your numbers, and profit first. Take home your profits first before you do anything. With the leftover 30% is what you actually run your business on. Otherwise, at the end of the year, you do all this work, clients are happy, and you take home nothing. And these are the number one, two reasons why businesses fail. I just wanted to add that on because it applies to all levels. It's not really even just a 10K thing versus a 100K thing, and it's very relevant. But overall, I want to just appreciate all of you guys that were so patient and adjusting and flexible and was able to spend a lot of time with us. And not a single person bombarded me about YouTube links and collaterals and all these things. You guys were extremely professional and really patient. So I really appreciate you, Joel. Again, man, I want to just thank you for what you have done for this community. This content is going to stay in our YouTube channel. And I know you didn't have to do this. I know this is quite the bullet for you to come in and just say, hey, let me give away a good amount of what I have when I could be charging for whatever it is. So I really appreciate you doing that for the community. And I look forward to having a longer relationship with High Level and you as well, and everything else that you guys have going on. And, as we do this, guys, our biggest win in our hearts is going to be when we see you all level up, when we see you guys with results, when you're able to see, when we watch all your Facebook posts and I'm in your accounts and seeing what's happening as well, right? Be true to yourself, right? Be true to yourself and what you're doing. Joel, let's go with your final statement and we'll close this off, baby.
Let's do it. Guys, really quickly, before my final statement, if you haven't filled out the survey, it's bit.ly/JoelKaplan3. If you haven't joined the free Facebook group, that's where you can engage with me moving forward. It's called Marketing Agency Secrets. And then last but not least, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate all of you guys. Just want to end on all of you. I know you took time out of your day, and your time is also extremely valuable. So I take that to heart. Really appreciate you guys, and hope to be seeing you all around soon. So that's it. Let's call it a day. Peace out.